I'm the last born son of Mr. and Mrs. Ndlovu. My father is Gideon Ndlovu, now late, a founding teacher at Donsa Primary School. My mother is Ephraim commonly known as Segazolani and Nagazolani. Also a founding teacher at Donsa Primary School. I was born at Loreto in 1986. I'm 36 years of age. I come from a family of 8. I think one of my brothers is a professor, and then a whole lot of others are in health sector, the others are in education, like that. And then I did my primary school at Donsa Primary School, right at the heart of the constituency. I spent my 7 years there. I would do my 8 kilometers to school. And even at that age, I think I was lucky. I was head boy at Donsa Primary School. That should have been in 1999. And then I was fortunate enough, mostly and merely because my parent was a teacher. Then at the time, my mother, I went to Lower Gwelo Adventist High School, where I did my 6 years. Fortunate again, when I was in Form 6, I was head boy at Lower Gwelo Adventist High School. Luckily at the time, through a program that was there, an apolitical program, I was junior member of parliament there and a junior minister there. Then I left Lower Gwelo Mission and I went to the University of Zimbabwe. Spent my time there, joined the student movement there, but without contesting. We were in the shadows, moving the student movement. I graduated there with a Bachelor of Laws honors degree. My area of emphasis was in international humanitarian law, the convergence of international systems. And then after that, I started working. I went into private practice, and exactly in my 3rd year, I formed my own law firm in partnership known as Mabundu and Law Chambers. We have a presence in Harare and in Bulawayo, and that is it about myself. I'm married. I have my own child with my own wife. I went and worked at my rural home. Mining at all material times is in terms of legislation. When you're talking about big corporates mining in an area, that will be them mining in Silobela specifically. It's not as if they are doing this without a framework. They are doing this, or ought to be doing this, within an enabling legislation. When one then speaks of development, the need for development to flow from those that are extracting minerals in an area, we need to ask ourselves, a purely legal and developmental person, that what framework is there from a governmental perspective that ensures that those that are mining in a specific area have to develop it. Maybe to unpack the issue specifically as it relates to Silobela, we all ought to be aware that at some point during the ZANU-PF rule, when Robert Mugabe was president of this country, there used to be a community share ownership scheme. The community share ownership scheme, its thrust in terms of law was that there ought to be a percentage share that is harvested by the communities for the purpose of developing it. So the question you need to ask about Silobela is, did the community share ownership scheme pay dividend? Was it implemented by the government that was there, the government of the day, the ZANU-PF government? If it was implemented, who was the MP at the time? Manogi was the MP. He's the one who must be telling us that, was he able to play a legislative oversight role in ensuring that the community share ownership scheme was implemented for the benefit of Silobela? The answer is very clear. He probably doesn't know. and no development, no meaningful development was ever seen on the ground. From a perspective of a person who is not in government, what is clear is that there ought to be framework that ensures that those that are extracting gold in Silobela participate in the development of the area. I think we in the opposition have so many other models that we could use to do that. Devolution is one of them, and so many other schemes that are community-based. That's why we are moving the citizens' way. It's not only about citizens determining political power, it's also about citizens benefiting from that which is extracted from their home area. Number of persons that are being targeted for being members, sympathizers, and presumed members and sympathizers who are being targeted and are not being accorded that which must accord to them in terms of food aid. So this is the problem that we have. It then escalates into the mining trend. We have specific areas where only those that are associated to a specific political party are allowed into the mining pits, and those that are presumed not to be aligned to a specific political party, they are obviated from that enjoyment. So what happens is that at the basic level, the problems that we have in Silobela have to do with the politicization of everyday life. And then from there, I then get to what I would term real problems. Real problems in the sense that these are structural in a way. You have a problem of neglect. Neglect in the sense of a failure by those that are in power to deliver, from council level to the suprastructure at governmental level. Simple things. You have boreholes that are out of use. So many of them. As you move around Silobela, you'll find that there are people would go for 2 years, 3 years without water. Why? Simply because a small part that probably costs $20 has not been supplied, and there's not been any fixing of that. So at the end of the day, you have a system of governance at a local level that is not responsive to the everyday needs of the people. So there's a water challenge due to non-fixing of available water. I think this is a crisis, a man-made crisis, because water is there, the borehole is there, but boreholes are dysfunctional. Yet you have a whole government department, a whole infrastructural system that is there specifically to deal with that. And then you have the issue of electrification, not electrification of every household at this point, but electrification of key areas. And when you are talking about electrification of hospitals, schools, and clinics, I think at a basic level. I'll give an example. What retains teachers in a specific area are good living conditions. In Ward 15, that's where you would find Sunganai. Electricity is just a stone throw away from the school. Yet there has not been electrification of that place. And as we move around, residents and citizens in that area, they will tell you that what they wish above all other things is that there be electricity at Sunganai Primary School. And in one of my visits there, since it's my rural home, villagers actually said that one of the promises that Manogi Mpofu gave to them in the run-up to the 2018 elections was that Magetsi Facha Pasunganai. But as I speak right now, there is no Magetsi Facha Pasunganai. There is no electricity at Sunganai. And I have specifically cited Sunganai to paint a picture of so many other areas that are in that crisis. You have, in Ward 17, Chapewa. Just before you get to Chapewa from Joel Road is that road off Gokwero. There is electricity. And just a few kilometers away, you have Chapewa. There is no electricity in Chapewa. We are saying a pro-developmental approach, a pro-developmental government must prioritize those areas. Of course, there are some other areas where there's been electrification. I don't want to approach this thing with a Cold War mentality. Of course, we appreciate those areas that have been electrified. I think I would single out Donsa. Now there's electricity at Donsa Primary School. This is my school where I learned. And also there is electricity at the clinic. That is good. But we are saying the pace of development is very, very slow. We are so many years into independence now, and we are almost 10 years into Manogi's term as a member of parliament. But we have not seen this pronounced developmental agenda across the area. And of course, there are so many issues. You have the issue of the road. Is the Kwekwe Crossroad Road. It's one of the worst roads. Actually, it's the worst road in Zimbabwe as far as I'm concerned, because this is the road that pertains to me. I no longer use it now. Now, when I'm going to my rural home, I'm forced to use the Gokwe Road. And then I branch off at that Joel shopping center. Why? Because I'm running away from a bad road. But it's not only a problem of a bad road. A good road network system attracts investment. As long as we have a bad road connecting Kwekwe and Silobela, it means the business environment is bad. Investors that can easily invest in crossroads, they shy away because of that bad road. Because of that bad road, you can't easily connect Nkai. So that road also affects the development of Nkai. So we have a problem of bad roads in Slovenia. But what people need to understand is the Kwekwe Crossroads roads is just a microcosm of the bigger macro problem that we have. Who has ever asked themselves about the road network system that is there in Maologosho? Maologosho is a part of Ward 17. It is so neglected. There is no road there at all. You only have dodgy pathways there. And a poor road network system impacts on the other problem that I want to bring into the fore, the accessibility of health facilities. When somebody gets sick at night, women that want to deliver at night or even during the day, they need to get to the nearest clinic. They need to get to the nearest hospital. And for them to get to the nearest hospital or nearest clinic, they have to access a road. So a good road means good life. It means a longer life to the citizens. It means an emergency responsive system in times of dire need. So because of that, we have a whole lot of